Hey everybody. It's classic concentration. Gremlins. Moon Ranger. Apparently, yes, I did feel like making other people play what I played. Well, hopefully Paranoia fixes theirs. They said they're ready. They're a little off center, but that's okay. I'll start if everyone else says they're ready. This group is bound to start in 3 minutes. Seems like they're about to start on time. Ten-second countdown. So for your viewing benefit, yeah, it's classic concentration music. It's this the whole time. It's actually not too bad, but I don't know why they haven't started yet. There they go. Yeah, there must be some delay on the information. Oh, I know why. You have to listen to this jackass play the piano. That's right. I forgot about that. It's a cutscene. It's unskippable, even though it says press start to begin. Okay, so if you haven't seen this dumbass TV show, it's a matching game, which is the lightest of challenges that somebody can do, right? Remember, these matches win a motorcycle. So and there's a wild card, you really just make as many matches as you can to get prizes. They have an assortment of things that you probably don't want. Or we'll just raffle off. Ultimately, we're looking for somebody to win the puzzle. It doesn't really matter how many prizes they have. They need to solve the puzzle, and if they can't do it, they need to beat the whole game, which can be done in 20 minutes. The puzzle is being revealed every time a match happens. And it's a pictograph. I have an image that I gave them to explain. Here it is. Take a quick look at this before I get rid of it here. So on the left, we have the, and then there's a picture of a collar, and then the word off on a bulb, Mo and then Ni, and that's color of money. It's that damn weirdness, pictograph stuff is what you're supposed to solve here. Clothes softener on the side. So yeah, they need to figure something out like that. And if they're lucky, they'll just get that goddamn puzzle I gave them. I'd take that. There are quite a few puzzles in this though. If RNG blessed them that well, that I gave them the answer. It's such bad art. it's so stupid looking. I think the worst part about it is the pictogram things are just so lazy. They're not right. Off means of, for example. You just say it out loud a couple times and hope for the best. Some people are good at these though. Another thing I should mention, it's probably driving the players crazy, is every time anything happens, there's a 5-second animation, which is what that jingle is that you keep hearing at. This jingle. Sometimes it's extended for no reason at all. They just play an annoying 8-second loop of music every time there's a match. Paranoia's not got their screen even close to correct, but they won't respond to me in Discord, so they readied up and then kind of, even though they have to use Discord, must not have noticed that I told them that their screen is way off, but they said they were ready, so I just started. I have enough information to go with here, I guess. Makes it hard for us to solve their puzzle, though. Now, again, I told the players, because I figured this would happen, if they can't solve this, then they need to get to the final round and play it as a default alternate win. But they do need to beat the AI in that case. They can't get credit if they still lose. And I noticed that Maniacal is apparently losing real bad. Match Gamer is doing incredibly bad. This is Maniacal's chance. Can he solve it? Drinking pitcher is incorrect. No one wins this one. I think it was drinking patch. I think it was that simple when he didn't do it right. I think it was close, but I'm not sure. I'm bad at these too. Well, once you've failed it, you just... It's like, Wheel of Fortune, except for they come out and they burn the puzzle and no one solves it. They just move on. Alright, I would appreciate if people don't guess on puzzles that are going on. Once the player has tried and moved on from that map, they shouldn't, I would allow it then. This music, man. Did Shide get a puzzle? Nice work. The end game music kicks ass, and all of this music is wasted on this stupid game. If it weren't for the damn animations, maybe this game wouldn't be so bad, but ultimately what should take 3 minutes takes 20 because of how slow everything is. Where's this Gremlins game? This Extreme Zeros. I played it a little bit. I actually owned Classic Concentration, so even though Time Stucker sent that in, I modified it a bit with my extreme Classic Concentration expertise. And as somebody whose father enjoys game shows more than anybody, I barely know what Classic Concentration is as a show. It must have been a flop. It must have just been some stupid 70s thing. You can game over in this Classic Concentration thing. You do need to beat the AI. You can't just, Varanth says they're done with it. They beat it, so... take a look. I keep missing them solving the puzzle. It's hard to catch. You have the Wikipedia open, Joe Gatorman? Let me look at this. Paranoid got it the correct answer. I saw that, even though I don't have much of the screen to work with. The camera in Gremlins is nasty. We're about to hear the final battle music on Classic Concentration. I'm gonna move over to that. So it's got this, kind of sudden death music to it. I'm double checking on Varanth to see if they did indeed clear this. No, they didn't. Varanth lost and they marked it as succeeding. They misunderstood. They have a 20. They passed. Indirect. Well, I can just tell them that, but... He didn't make it to the final round, which plays this music. Let's play this disgusting Gremlins OST. I like this movie, the first one anyway. Like, the second one's something weird, but it's alright. It's more of a comedy than the first one. Here's some ridiculous bad music though. Gremlins 1 was a sort of horror movie thing. Yeah, it was about these creatures that turn into monsters when they get wet. They're pets that go berserk, and they started killing people. So there was that element of, actually, this is pretty scary kind of movie for kids to be watching. But I watched it anyway. It kicked ass. The second movie was ridiculous. It wasn't like that at all. It was just pure comedy, Muppets stuff. But it was kind of awful. It's just, I didn't like it. I wonder how well the second movie did. Let me check this out. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Kit's Me is incorrect. That's 7.4. Let's play this song here. Apparently, people think the second movie is better than the first. And I thought that might be the case because I remember it being strange. I remember like a dude marries one of them, or at least picks her up at the bar. Something like that happens. There's romance between a man and a gremlin. And that's all I remember. That's the only thing I remember. Man, Maniacal's dealing with like 3 horses on his pictograph. He gave up and disgusted. Whatever it is. Grammar school. Oh, I see. Great. Man, this game sucks. Passive concentration deserves to be knocked off the TV. I genuinely hate it. It's the worst game show I've ever seen. I'd rather play Number Wang. I was just looking at pictures of the old plastic concentration and how shitty it still is. It's exactly what I remember watching. 100% garbage. It's so bad. Man, just melting gremlins over here. I can't believe they brought back that stupid Don't Press Your Luck show, man. Ugh. Game shows are terrible. But some of them are truly the dumbest garbage. That show actually had somebody solve it, and they had to put a cap on things because he had figured out their bad RNG on their wheel. It actually wasn't random at all, and he won like $100,000 just by pressing his luck at the right time over and over again. A show with an intrinsic flaw. I never said my game show was good. It's better than those, though. I mean, one of the reasons I made my game show was because we were watching shows like my game show and saying how bad they were and how much better we could make one if we bothered. And I did my best. And I think if you watch The Source, you have a hard time telling me that I failed. Nick Arcade is the best of them, actually. There are two others like that exist from the 90s that are much worse gaming shows. Video game shows. I don't think Guts is a game show. It's not the same thing. But that kicked ass. I actually think Nick Arcade is pretty good. I do think my show is better, but mostly because they just didn't have any quality control over most of the content. They were doing what they had on hand. They just had, they wheeled out ActRaiser and just go for points, do your best, just some random challenge, stuff like that. The trivia was lame. There was another show, I can't even remember its name, where they were asking the kids about the Depeche Mode albums and shit. They didn't have anything going on. It was the same idea, but oh my god, the trivia was so bad. It was so bad that it inspired us to make a show. There's one where they go around, they slide down a slide and just grab games and attach them to their heads and stuff with Velcro. And then they get those games. That's what happens. This is one of these platformers where it's going to be hard for the players to find their way. But if they can, it's not an overly difficult game. I can tell that a lot of the players are stuck on it. Paranoia already on, for better or for worse, already on Moon Ranger. We for Arcade Pit, we definitely inspired our better ideas. We just modified and enhanced a lot of Nick Arcade's format, added in my own. Most of it's my own, honestly. Especially because, we had to convert it to a streaming environment, but trivia and stuff that actually came from an essay thread where they had modded Jeopardy to have video game questions. That's where I got the trivia. I didn't take it from a game show. I took it from that. So I've always wanted to do that, and it was a pain in the ass to do it ourselves, and Sartek made the LP. Couldn't find him, contact him, or figure out how any of that was done. But Let's Play Jeopardy was great. So that actually inspired most of my desire to do anything at all like that. And we just threw everything else on top of the trivia pile. Trivia was the first thing of all. Ultimately, my goal was to get Red Prey on my trivia show after watching them do it on that. Moon Ranger. Let's play the OST for that. If it's here. It's not. Damn. Well, can I long play this? No, I can't even find it. There it is. No, damn. I only have a guy talking over it. Ah, here it is. Found some music from it. So the goal in Moon Ranger, which unfortunately Paranoia's screen is way off, so we can't see what they're messing around with here, is to find a bomb in each one of these platforming stages and then find the exit. And to do that, they'll have to beat a shmup section. This is the first base. It's platforming mess. Everything in this game feels like ice. There's some sights and sounds from Moon Ranger. This person game over. Alright, well, we'll just play our own music, I guess. It's fine. Moon Ranger ain't great. Anyway, 2 game shows that Arcade Pit's related to. Most of what we thought was good from Nick Arcade was the challenge format. Obviously, we tried to use the betting and playing a challenge teammate thing, and we did a 2-on-2 game show. That's most of what we took from Nick Arcade, was the idea of 2 players going against each other. And one of the players bets on how well the other one will do. And we've scrapped that, ultimately, because it took forever. Players just don't understand things. They still don't, you know. I get people on who abuse my show. They research the database. They understand flaws in it and stuff. And that kills the fun of it, honestly. And I don't want those players back, ultimately, when they do that stuff. But the worst thing they do is take forever. And so we scrapped that just to speed it up. There's a lot that goes into designing that kind of stuff. That is just all me, actually. I have to I have a really long credits list, and it's true that a lot of people did help me with a lot of that stuff, but I put in a tremendous amount of effort in balancing everything before even talking about how much of that is me. I don't really have too much help with designing it. It's just what I've seen and how things seem to be going. And one of the things that I saw was that People suck at picking questions sometimes, so I tried to handle that. We changed that format quite a few times. And people suck at betting. They just really, they just go 20 every time. If they have the option to go between 10 and 40, it's 20, no matter what. And it takes 2 minutes to do it. They just take forever. So, you know, you notice things like that, you write them down and you analyze them over 100 games. Oh, they don't cheat at Arcade Pit. They study it like they know that Mega Man 3 has had this many wins because there's a guy who has stats, and they check that out. Like, they look at it not as an interest. They don't look like, oh, that's neat. I see. They look at it as a way to win. And, you know, once you go into competitive mindset for it, it's kind of, it's not really what it's designed for. And when you have stats to help you do that, it's kind of shitty. Like, if you know what games on Test Your Smite are the best picks and you're intentionally seeking them out, that's pretty lame. It's just taking advantage of, ultimately, what I didn't have time to fix, and it sucks. What else? If you know that a game only has one challenge still, that's our fault. We haven't finished it yet. But you can pick that game knowing that you can beat that challenge. That sucks, you know? And that's the kind of advantage that you can get if you study it too hard. And it makes my show fall apart. That's our show's weakness right now. Is that we have 7 or 8 huge databases. Just if somebody was devoted 40 hours a week to dealing with them as a full-time job, then maybe they'd be caught up. But they are, man, they're massive, and they need a lot of work. So, you know, if you pick the holes in them, that's where our show falls apart. So it annoys me when players do that. I don't mind people trying to win. It's just that mindset, and what comes out of it sucks. Anyway, talking about Moon Ranger here. You have a gun. I just wanted to mention you have this gun that is a pea shooter, and it does upgrade to be 3 or 4 times more powerful to a variety of different firing types. But if you take damage, you're gonna lose it. Not death, you'll lose it from taking damage, and it honestly felt like you could almost soft lock because your gun gets so weak. You can't, you can still win, but it really sucks. You have a lot of credits in this game. I don't know why Shide is stuck here. The boss didn't appear. That was interesting. Had to take a death to get the boss to show up. Honestly, if you want to submit challenges for Arcade Pit, the way that would help me out the most is to fix what I just said. Our database is publicly viewable, not so that people can be jerks and, you know, mastermind how to win. It's actually publicly available for people who are submitting challenges, so that they can help us fix that, so that they can see that Mega Man 4 or whatever doesn't have any challenges, really. It has like 2, and, you know, you can go in there and fix that. Now, we fixed that one specifically, so all the Mega Mans are done now, but, you know, just as an example, Game X has 1 challenge, so I'd prefer you submit a challenge for that than a new game. I'm watching Shide die in the pit here, on purpose, I assume, to get lives back, but it's hard to tell. I'm not sure that it was on purpose. I mean, yeah, Cube does need more challenges, so I'd be happy to receive those. And the other thing with that is, as long as they're a good challenge, they're pretty much guaranteed to be accepted, because you're just expanding on something that we already said is a game that we're going to use. You know, you've already removed the element of I don't know if I want to use this game. There's a lot of games that I don't think fit on the show, and Cuber Cubed actually is one of the games I'll use, so feel free. Just feel free to expand on anything that's in our database already. I know we're good on Mega Man challenges because I ran through those personally, I think. We spent a lot of time on those. Mario 1 and 3, Donkey Kong Country 1 and 2. I personally went over with a fine-tooth comb and made like 50 of each of those. I did my best. I cleverly used the world map to get Mario World and Donkey Kong Country to maximize every possible challenge I could come up with. So if you want to add one of those to that game, you'd have to be goddamn creative. And that's unlikely. So it's unlikely that you'll find something I'll accept. So be better off using your time on something else. There's no shortage of games with 3 or less challenges in the database, and you can find that link on the Arcade Pit website. Ooh. I'm always looking for more Quizler questions. Quizler Deluxe isn't off because of that, though. It's off because something else broke that needs fixed, and I haven't bothered my programmer about it because it's just not... It's not my priority. I got my own stuff to work on anyway. I do believe that Paranoia has finished. 34-27. I saw them fly away, and I've seen them beat every game now. Nice work. Yeah, the other thing with the challenges is that it's the most time-consuming database to edit to get working. There's a lot of information that we want to display in a specific way. So it's extra hard to deal with, and I have to play the challenge to make sure they're good, or else they'll come live and they suck and I'll ruin the show. I mean, we check all our trivia and stuff too, but trivia is a lot faster to check than a 10-minute challenge thing. We have to save it, load it up, check it out, format it, and approve it. So that's not been something I've dove into too much this year. I've been a really busy year. This summer should be, after this tournament, it should be my priority. Watching Shai try and do this jump. I like to go through the challenges as a broadcast to help people understand how to make them, but it's not been a very interesting broadcast. It's full of pausing. Ultimately, it didn't seem like a great idea to broadcast that. I can go faster offline, so I have been when I do them. Shy, game over, back to the start. Just even more Moon Ranger coming at you. You have like 3 credits. The shmup section is pretty easy. You don't have invuln time on this, really. You just drain your health. It's like that, so you don't want contact damage. There's no tutorial to make. It's just you either understand what I want or you don't. And surprisingly, people who played on the show, even, yet alone people who watch it all the time, don't seem to understand what good content would be a lot. We have very different mindsets, me and the people who submit trivia. It seems like a lot of the time we delete a lot of stuff that's just not even close. Like, there's a huge list of rules for the trivia to try and help people understand what we're looking for. And Maddie sends me stuff all the time that he finds that he hates. He hates enough that he thinks it's a hilarious question. I think people mostly just want to see their favorite retro games on the show, but their favorite retro game doesn't necessarily fit. You know, it takes more than just being a good game or even a bad game, whatever. Screen Crap is really bad about it. People send in-game jokes that aren't, they may be funny in context, but they're not really what we're looking for. We're not Google image search for funny images of games. We're identify this game. We're actually an event. It's not a comedy hour, really. So I do appreciate funny jokes that fit the format. You can find the database on the Reddit page or on arcadep.it. The Reddit page has all the relevant links. That's the only good thing about the Reddit. We don't use it. I don't check it. I don't see any notices that anyone posts there, but all the links are up top. Now the database links actually probably need updated because we moved it over, but I can check on that. We should be able to make a pretty nice query on that database now that it's on a real database. It didn't used to be. I used to manually update it. Ultimately, we originally were running through Google Forms as a way to take submissions quickly. An easy thing to set up and a bad thing to maintain. We eventually switched everything over to a real database. But to get it working online and stuff, we just did that. Anyway, I did not mean to talk about Arcade Pit over this race. And go back to talking about Moon Ranger more. I'm wondering if anyone else is going to clear this. Paranoia did really well. It looks like maybe everyone else is going to get stuck on Moon Ranger. The shmup part, I don't know what Shide's doing. It seems like they're... Oh, they quit. Okay. 4810. The shmup section, as far as shmups go, it's pretty lame. It's not hard at all. You just go through, grab power-ups, dodge enemies. They're not overly bad, but they are obnoxious. You have a lot of health. You have health. It's a shmup where you have a health bar, so I've played worse. You slide around still. The controls are shit, even in space, even with the spaceship. They're still bad, but I've played worse. You can brute force this shmup section. The platforming in the platforming section is tremendously bad, though, and that's what they're gonna have to be able to do. Like, where Varantha is there, they died there. Look at how stupid that jump is. It seems like, I mean, can you even imagine dying in something like that in like Mario Brothers? You look at that jump and you're like, you'd have to fall in there on purpose. Like, no one would ever fall in a pit like that. But in this game, I was terrified every time I came across something like that. It's so hard to move forward and stop. You have to make these weird jumps all the time. It's disgusting. This enemy spawns enemies and he just won't stop. And then you got rooms like this where jumping is the challenge. You actually must do. These are awful. They're so bad. It's so easy to just It almost looks like it's intentional. You just end up falling off the side and dying. But it's not. It actually just controls that badly. When jumping is involved, it controls that badly. It's really, really hard to stop. That bomb piece is in the top left for Varanth. That is what they're after here to escape the stage. If they don't have it, the final door will not open. So this is the objective. They managed to get these weird jumps correct, so they have it. And they find the exit. Well, I'm going to go ahead and throw these points at Paranoid. I need to remember that... Well, I'll just do some math on Varanth. They took 20 on Classic Concentration. They didn't clear it. And they told my bot that they did. So, you know, there's some confusion there. I'll have their times. $18.56 is... So they've only saved a minute and 4 seconds, ultimately. Not 10 minutes. Those enemy spawners in the later stages, not so much in this first one, they chase you and spawn enemies the whole time. If you don't have a weapon upgrade, they're impossible to kill. My strategy became ramming into them, which kills you too, but they don't respawn. Bubsy rules in effect here on enemy respawns. They're just gone. So that's why the stage is mostly clear for Varanth right now. If you ram into the spawners, that's one way, at the cost of a life, to make some progress when you don't have a gun upgrade. It works. Last resort. Throw Moon Rangers at him. Shoot Moon Rangers at him. This stage is not that big. I actually did beat this one in Kuso. It's the first game I cleared in Kuso ever last week. But it took me 40 or 50 minutes. And I got stuck on stage 2 for an ungodly amount of time, where my competitor had already gotten to the final stage in like 20 minutes. And they got stuck on that. They got stuck somewhere else. They got almost soft locked. Almost. I don't think they were. I was watching it, but Varanth is done. Varanth cleared it. Okay, Varanth's time is 60 minutes minus a minute 4 minus 2 minutes and 21. It's a pretty long time, ultimately. We're just waiting on Maniacal Gamer here to see if they can clear it. They might have a chance. I have no idea what their time's going to end up being. His broadcast looks so choppy. Anyway, 6:35 is Varanth's time. I did beat this stupid game in my first set of credits. I didn't get a game over, but I was on the final boss with like 1 life left and no HP when I finally did it. And I was very frustrated with stage 2. I was stuck on nothing, really. Like, looking at what I was stuck on, it was just the same crap. And it just, for some reason, my downgraded weapons, I couldn't figure out what to do, and I just got stuck there forever. Maniacal's dealing with these strange jumps. Oh, he's jumping too early, but that's a thing you want to try to do in this, I understand. You just gotta figure out where the hitbox actually is on these stupid floors. There's been a lot of discussion about SGDQ and the players on there saying the game's badly programmed when it's not, and they're just bug hunters. Here's a game that's actually badly programmed. If anything is in this world, everything is badly programmed. There are varying degrees of it. Here's actually badly programmed. Like, for real. Unironically. It sucks. Alright, thanks for the sub. I don't think that most video games are. Honestly, they work fine. They hold up real well. If they're on a console, they almost always are good stuff. Especially the big titles, man. But this, I could make this better myself. Like, and I don't know anything about it. I took a class in high school on how to program in C+, and I could make this game, I think. I feel like I could, and I could make it better in a month. I could just sit down and do it. I could do it. It just sucks. I think the only game I ever actually made, aside from ASCII Hanoi Towers, is Breakout. I made Breakout pretty quickly. Like, you know, it was just a week-long project, but I'm thinking of that and how I did the hitboxes and how I made them work tightly and control well, because it did feel good. I made it feel nice. And then I look at these jumps and the momentum on them in this game. It's a completely different genre, but it's the same kind of thing that I was dealing with. Is object touches this, something happens. You just can't get over these things. It's because they just put them in the wrong place. But the controls are so weird. The way they handle movement is just not right. It just needed completely redone. I hate the movement. Hey Ty, we're actually just wrapping up, but thank you for the host. What are we up to? By any chance, do you want a copy of Mummy Returns on on the PS2? I'm just seeing if Maniacal Gamer can defeat this. Let me see how much time he has left. Oh, he's giving up. What the? I don't even have his time on my butt. Hold on a second. Looks like he took 60. He didn't save time anywhere. He shouldn't have given up. He could have come in third here. I guess he game overed or something. Just got tired of this. Okay. Well, that gives me my scores then. Shide is third. Branth with 56 is third in this race. Chad is second in this race, 48 minutes. Let's see what this group score is at. Yes, Scheid is second place with 5. Branth has 4. Really close. But it looks like Paranoid with 9 points. Definitely moving on. Was from the beginning of this. Scheid moving on as well. Group I is finished. This is a matter of classic concentration holding up Varanth. If they managed to solve that puzzle that they thought they did, if that was actually their time on that game instead of a game over. But they didn't. And I don't think that the confusion made a difference. It's that they lost that challenge. If they had matched more cards and made it to the final round, maybe they could have won that way. But let me see what our next game is here. We have a game on the 28th. We have a tiebreaker. It's not a normal match. It's just going to be one game for 30 minutes. Teravan versus Zant. They tied for 5 points each, I think. So they're the first people who have tied for second place. It's the first time that maybe the second time actually. I think I did one tiebreaker right away before, but this time it was delayed. I didn't feel like doing that tiebreaker right then. I was running behind schedule. So it's the first time I've scheduled a tiebreaker. So that's what that one is on Friday. It's happening before AI Arena. It'll be over in 30 minutes, whoever does the best. And then we'll do, is it AI Arena on Friday? Let me see. Yeah, okay. We're going to do the drawing pit on Friday, I think. Or maybe a marathon. I am looking to broadcast a bunch of bad games. Subs and patrons thing. I haven't done that in a while. My sub count hurts for it, honestly. It's lower than it should be. I need to pay attention to my numbers a little bit here. And also, I think my patrons and subs really like that show where I turn on a webcam and I just go for 12 hours playing the games that they want out of my bad games pile. My bad games pile is growing too big to handle, and I need more of those shows to handle it. I have 2 copies of The Mummy Returns for some reason. I have Ratatouille on the Xbox. I've got Mortal Kombat Conquest, The Adventure. Nina from Tekken has her own action-adventure game. I've got that. How do these sound? Hey, if you subscribe, you can tell me which one you want me to play. That's the idea. Anyway, thanks for coming by, everybody. We'll be back on tomorrow night. Though 14 just got its expansion coming out soon, and I have the early access to it, so that might eat up some of my time. We'll see how it goes. I would like to do that show this week, though. It's been a while. I haven't done too many of those in 2019 because of Arcade Pit and... what else? It was Arcade Pit and the charity show and now this tournament. But I still should make room for it every month. I really should. And I need to do it before Mario Maker 2 happens. Because then that's what people are going to want to watch. Probably. I don't know. Let me find somebody of those. I'll throw you over to Big John. Let's play some Mario 64. Have a good one, everybody. I'd host Proton John, but I actually want to play Bloodstained and broadcast it too, so I can't look at that. See you later.